Let's bring up Kenny and Aaron from the Golden State Warriors and Sonic Notify. Welcome, guys. Come on out. Are we supposed to have the cannons go now with the T-shirts and everything? Thanks for coming, everybody. Super excited to have what are you, the Director of Experience at the Warriors? What do you call it?
I'm the VP of Digital Marketing.
VP of Digital Marketing.
Yeah, but a lot of it's about experience. That's what we do.
So what are you guys doing in the arena? I mean, obviously you're giving T-shirts out, and I went to the arena, and I have to say, having had season tickets here at the Garden was winning for so long. I mean, not anymore, since Patrick Ewing retired, but back in the day when I had season tickets, they did nothing. Like, the Garden did the absolute minimum. Like, they never gave away T-shirts. They just didn't care. But now all these arenas are, like, really starting to get generous and trying to make a bigger experience. The Warriors, specifically, was a team that was kind of a afterthought. They kind of sucked, and they were kind of like on the outskirts of this town.
Yep.
In Oakland, and now you go, it's sold out every game. The crowd is crazy, and you're winning, of course, so that helps.
Yeah, it does. You know, well, we're in the, the Warriors, we're an entertainment company, so it's all about building experience, and it's just an incredible time to be in the experience building business. We use technology to help enable fans to have to want to come, to want to buy, to want to escape from the real world for a little while. And we've done everything. We happen to be located in the San Francisco Bay Area, and we're the only basketball game in town, right? So we have access to, I was telling someone, the Lakers have movie stars. Well, we have tech stars that come, like this one, right? Like the head of Twitter, Facebook, everyone.
No, I see Dick Costello is courtside at like every game. David Sachs has courtside seats. Chamath, a venture capitalist, bought 10% of the team.
Yep.
And yeah, it's
Chamath, Nick Swimmer, who started Zappos, and Chad Hurley for YouTube, all minority owners. So the opportunity for us to take advantage and use technology to drive certain behaviors to better the fan experience is really kind of our constant vigil. And we've done things like we've created an Instagram wall real time so that people can tweet with a hashtag and get their pictures and videos up there. We're one of the only teams in the NBA that does and has been doing Facebook check-ins. We did a project where we captured all the sound. We figured, why is it just on the court side should you be able to hear all the sounds on the court? So we mic'd up the entire court and in real time delivered that sound to everybody who didn't normally hear that sound. And not delivered it to people who did, which was incredible. And that's kind of what we're about, is disrupting the fan experience.
Yeah, so let's go through. I guess we have a deck of some of the things you're working on. So let's pull up that deck for a second here. And obviously beacons are going to become part of that. So you have 20,000 very engaged fans. Do you guys have Wi-Fi at the arena?
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have Wi-Fi.
Does it stay up?
No.
Okay, so.
No, so we are, one of the things that we're doing is, Wi-Fi and connectivity has just been absolutely critical, and this is also one of the reasons why we teamed up with Sonic Notify. But in our current arena, we're going to have to make sure that connectivity is consistent, and we're also building a state-of-the-art new venue in San Francisco for our 2018-19 season that absolutely has to be the premier, second-to-none fan guest experience.
You guys were going to be a little bit north in the city, but they kind of chased you down a couple of piers.
Yeah, we were going to be right under. We were going to be right under the bridge. But you add a lot of agencies that have to. It's probably one of the most heavily regulated pieces of land in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And we decided, look, if we want to do this, we need to find another place. And as it turns out, this other place, which is just south of AT&T, is even better. It gives us more access, more capability. We drop 5 agencies we don't have to deal with.
Yeah.
It's great.
So let's talk about the technology you're using. You're starting to put in beacons.
Yeah. So I mean, we have, you know, when you're in the entertainment business and you have 20,000, you know, huge passionate fans that are tech savvy, which they are in the Bay Area, it's a no-brainer to look at what technology is going to help enable them. And when there's a technology that delivers, you know, contextual, persuasive, relevant information to them, like beacons do, and like we did with Sonic Notify, it was a no-brainer to step into that place.
Okay, so let's go to the next slide here. And so what are we actually doing here? This is Sonic Notify's technology. Let's go back one slide, I think. Do we skip over that? Yeah. Okay, so this is what?
Sure. So, we are really proud and glad to have been able to work with the Golden State Warriors so far, and looking forward to adding on to our experiences from this year to next year as well. It was a combination of BLE and inaudible audio that created about 7 or 8 different very visitor-specific use cases that we were trying to enable. Everything from, and some of these are elaborated in the subsequent slides as well.
So you said BLE, obviously Bluetooth Low Energy, which is this new Bluetooth standard that is now in almost every phone, which means you're not going to drain your battery when you're using your jam box, essentially. And it just works better, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's a very elegant way to create proximity awareness. Low energy drain, also very fast. It recognizes the appropriate beacon very quickly.
But what's this other thing you mentioned, the audio?
So sure. So Sonic Notify has actually been in the business of proximity awareness for over 3 years now. 3 years ago, there were actually no phones whatsoever that had BLE capabilities. And so we were looking at the phone and said, what's ubiquitous about phones that we can still create some semblance of recognizing where a phone is at that time? And obviously, every phone has a microphone. So what we created was this really interesting technology, which still has incredible use cases today that allows you to use the microphone of the phone to recognize within an audible audio signal, basically 20,000 kilohertz type signal, where you are, just as much so as what BLA does now. Important point about BLE that we should just mention in a beacon type of conference is that 44% of iPhones in the smartphones in the U.S. are iPhone. Of that, about 3/4 of them are 4S and better. So that's about 36, 37%. On the Android side of the house, BLE capabilities are about 12%. So you've got almost 50% of phones that are BLE capable, but then when you take the total amount of people who haven't yet learned that BLE doesn't drain your battery, and you reduce the amount of phones that actually have their Bluetooth turned on, it's in the single to double digits. And so having a solution that allows you to literally hit 90+% of smartphones out there and create similar proximity relevance in a single platform is a very, very powerful way to do it now.
And that's the audio.
And that's the audio part. One other really...
And what is that? How does that technically work? You just send out like a dog whistle and all of our phones wake up?
That's exactly right. So exactly as BLE works, which is when you're listening for sounds or signals, the phone recognizes the signal, sends it back to a central CMS, which digests what that really was and comes back with an appropriate response. It will then give your phone the opportunity, or give the user of the phone the opportunity to then wake up.
But they have to have a certain app loaded in the background, because now you have iPhones can have this background loading, I guess, which makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
What do they call it? Idle state?
Idle state, yeah.
You've got dead, idle, and foregrounded.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is, I was not in sports when I went over to the Warriors, and Sonic Notify. When I was managing a digital group, we were the agency of record for IBM, whatever, and the focus was on how do you use tones to drive a second screen through broadcast.
Sure, let's just Facebook has it, and a lot of the second screen.
And that's where we started.
Has anybody here ever used a second screen experience, like watching Game of Thrones or something? 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like about 5 or 10% maybe. Does anybody use it on a regular basis or otherwise enjoy it?
For sports. So
you do enjoy it for sports. That's interesting, yeah.
I think that's the important thing, is that there has to be real value for the user, or there isn't going to be adoption.
Yeah.
Getting to work with Golden State Warriors, where they're both an incredible fan base and a brand as well as a retailer at the same time, is almost unparalleled. There's more work to get for example, retailer to have the kind of use cases that then create that kind of passion, and I want to go.
But we also know that people who are at the game or and watching TV are absolutely using their smartphone or iPad. So the syncing of it really is a matter of value proposition, like you're saying. So let's go to the next slide here. Next slide, please.
Sure. Yeah. So the syncing of it is exactly right. The main thing that Sonic is doing right now is the ability for someone to be recognized when they're actually on the couch versus the aisle, and having that sync up. So if you were exposed to 5 TV commercials, which were Toyota commercials, and then you show up at a beacon-enabled Toyota dealership, for example, then there is the ability to do that full 360 communication.
So here we go. The first thing is giving away the bracelets that you all gave to us, thank you, during the playoffs. So you basically put up signs saying, download the app and we'll send you an alert, or download the app and then you sent the alert?
Yeah, we made sure that everyone had the app. We used the regular channels, Facebook, Twitter, or email to let people know that something was going to be happening and to download the app. And it was fairly simple. We know for sure that in experience design, people want to be recognized. They want to be presenced, right? So when you walk into Starbucks and they say, hey, Kenny, hey, is it the usual? You feel good, right? Or Norm on Cheers, right? So we wanted to kind of mimic that sort of behavior. So what happened in this use case was that we set 8 beacons up around all the entrances. When you walked in, you were notified, you were welcomed, which is on the first screen, and then as you swiped through, you got this, this message saying, hey, thank you for downloading the app. Thanks for being here. Take the screen, take your phone, take your tablet, whatever you're looking at, take it over to our Facebook check-in, and you'll get one of these silicone bracelets.
And you converted 1% of the people coming to the game.
Yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, that's right. I mean, the thing is that in all these cases, we're mostly looking at, are we successful in driving behavior, right? Do we have people doing what we want? Because we're designing for that using Sonic Notify. So if we can get 1%, we know if we build it out and explore it, more beacons, better information, then
why not 10?
Why not do it?
Or 20.
So people,
okay, let's see the next
like doing that.
So this was a discount, getting 10% off. How did this work?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a no-brainer, right? I mean, we're a business, so we want to make money. And we actually tied in, so if you're an NBA, any sports fan, you know the power of having a player, right? And again, I just want to say that a lot of this is just, is good marketing, right? Is understanding how to communicate the message. Behavior is just motivation, ability, and trigger. So the trigger, asking them at the right time in the right place, is what we use the beacons for. We still had to deliver compelling messages.
And what's the message here? You actually
and the message here was, basically we worked with our partner Adidas, who had a store in the arena. We put a beacon at the entrance of the store. When they walked in, they got a message saying there was a discount on merchandise. When they swiped through, we got a video from Harrison Barnes, who said, hey, thanks for coming to the store. Thanks for coming to the playoffs. Look down, there's a 10% coupon, show it to the...
and did people actually do it?
Yeah, people did it, and it was great. And
this is all last year, or this past, or
this
2
was
playoffs?
No, just months ago.
Just months ago.
Yeah, in the playoffs.
Okay, let's see the next one.
In fact, we have, you know, the shirts and everything that we put out there, we create a Warriors ground feeling anywhere there's Warriors fans. So as you saw in the intro video, all the shirts and everything, we put shirts on every seat to create that experience. And in fact, we have bobbleheads here. So if you, from Harrison Barnes, so if you tweet a question,
you get a bobblehead?
And you read it, then you get a bobblehead.
All right,
Harrison
it's not
Barnes.
a Carmelo Anthony bobblehead.
No, sorry.
With a Heat jersey on it.
Yeah, sorry. We'll see if we can get you one.
Traitor.
Okay,
okay, let's see the next slide.
Yep. All right, so the third one was really one of the most fun because we already sell out. We have 82 straight sellouts of 20,000 people. So we're not looking at necessarily focusing on selling tickets, unlike some people.
Right, some arenas.
Right, some arenas.
Yeah.
But what we knew we could do is generate additional ticket sales by upgrading seats, getting people closer to the action. So we put beacons at the top of the escalator when they were going up to the so they enter on the bottom floor, they go the escalator to some of the higher seats away from the game, and they were notified, hey, you know, would you like to upgrade your seat? And the neat thing about this is that we were able to use the beacon to actually trigger it and then we seamlessly moved them over to our Pogo Seat, which is our in-arena seat upgrade provider.
That's another startup in the Valley.
On the app,
doing just upgrading. So what seat do you upgrade them to? If I don't come to the game, or I'm not coming, the seat didn't sell in the reseller market?
Yeah, we have seat didn't sell in the reseller market. We have seat holds that players have for their friends and family that don't show up. We have people that don't scan in, and we have extra seats. So
we used to do that at the Garden, except the way the technology worked was you just put a $20 bill behind your blue seats, and you come down and say, I think I have a seat down here somewhere, and you just do this. Just a little fan fold, and the guy would sit you all the time. It worked, actually. You can ask my brother Jamie here. We used to do it all the time. Okay, but this is actually the most unique one that you got to test. Did people love this, like this? I mean, how much can they upgrade the seat for? Is it just the difference or half the difference? Is it a bargain?
It's it's not. I mean, it depends upon what seat. If it's close to the court side, then there probably isn't a discount. If it's a little bit lower, then we probably gave them a little bit of a discount. The goal, the concept was, hey, look, you could be going down instead of going up, right?
What about at the halfway mark? Is it like half the half price?
No. Although that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. Because we know at half people start to do what you just suggested, start moving around.
That's the right time to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go, next. Okay, so what's next?
So, we are, our two owners, it's under new ownership. One of them, Peter Guber, is a movie guy. He's very much into experience. So the combination of us continually trying to innovate to deliver, I mean, frankly, our fans deserve it, but they expect it as well. So we need to continue to find ways to make that fan experience better and use our current arena to test for what we're going to do in San Francisco, which has to be second to none in the world in terms of experience.
Let's talk about in-seat dining and stuff like that. I mean, that started in a couple of arenas 10 years ago where, well, obviously some of them had it 20 years ago where a waiter would come up and just punch your order in. But what about doing it with beacons and putting one under every seat, and you open your app up, it says, oh, you're probably in this seat, and you just pick what seat you're in if it's not perfect?
We do that? Sure, yeah, we can. So the core technology of Sonic Notify is actually a very complex CMS that's specifically designed to match location to business rules. And so once you have the beacons laid out in whatever granularity you want, as well as the inaudible audio signal set up properly, if you want, then you can literally apply whatever business cases make sense for you. So, so certainly in-seat dining is a great idea. How about people that want to buy merchandise that just don't want to get out of their seat? Things like that. All these things are literally just lines of logic in a complex CMS that has everything mapped to it.
How about if we want to put one in Uber? So anyone who's going to the Warriors game, there's an app stuck in the Uber, and it creates a Warriors ground experience in the car on your way there.
We almost did that because we started rolling out beacons to both the parking lot and right in front of the BART. And so people are starting to gain that experience well before they're even in the stadium. That's what Kevin was doing.
Yeah. So.
And are your advertising partners, kind of hip and savvy to this yet, or are you educating them on it? Like, because you have a lot of marketers here. They sometimes drive these things, not just the arena. What have you seen from them?
Well,
the Adidas store, right?
Yeah.
So
So many of our sponsors are willing to take risks, are willing to step in to try and experiment. And a lot of what we do is we experiment to see if it will work. We have a very good fan base to be able to do that. So Adidas was thrilled with being a part of it. They wanted to actually take it out and move it to their San Francisco store. So if you had a Warriors app and you walked into their San Francisco store, you would get something unique. Jamba Juice, another one that really stepped forward. We did, instead of just a welcome message when people came in, they got a short form, and again, making it the ability very easy to drive the behavior, a short form to possibly win a VIP experience with the Warriors.
So if I have the Warriors app and I went to the game 2 weeks ago, now I'm in Subway or Jamba Juice, and I'm getting sold by David Lee on, whatever, supersizing my whatever.
Right.
Interesting.
So we could even, there's a number of ways, I mean, there's just, and again, we're just in the way we approach innovation is really, iterative and incremental, right? So we have a very iterative approach in design and incremental in build, and we just continue to challenge ourselves in figuring out how to do more around that experience.
Where do you think this is all going? I mean, if we look out 5 or 10 years from now, what will the experience be like at an average NBA arena?
I can talk more generally about the use of proximity awareness in your day more so than the NBA arena, which is Kenny's specialty. So broadly, we view this as two really big things. One is that if you go on to Google and you type, new bicycle wheels, then your intent is there and it's recognized, and there's the opportunity to do something with it. It'll either, you can get retargeted, you can follow through, there'll be follow through, there'll be all kinds of ways to leverage that clear intent. In the physical world, you're standing in front of something. Let's say you're standing in front of a certain jersey for 10 minutes, but it's $50 and you just don't want to spend it. That intent is recognized in a physical sort of way, and then all of a sudden put into the digital world for potential upsell, resell, et cetera. I find that an incredibly powerful opportunity that extends way beyond just any one vertical in particular. And then once again, I do want to stress the idea of being able to have full physical attribution between broadcast TV and what you do in the physical world is unparalleled. There's $43 billion a year spent on television. Just imagine if you could have some true attribution associated with it, as opposed to sort of averages and ComScore stuff. I kind
of find a lot of the applications obvious. I mean, the pogo seat is obviously very unique. Like, kudos for thinking up upgrading in the arena. But what about something, I mean, the NBA wouldn't be pleased with it, but where if we watched a foul replay, right, we could all vote, was that a flagrant 1, was it a flagrant 2, or, if it was a preseason game, could we, or a scrimmage type game, could we actually call plays and vote on calling a play and actually see that happening? Is anything happening on that level? Because you have this new commissioner who's
Adam.
really thinking about moving the three-point line, or maybe changing the finals or the NBA playoffs to a bracket system that would, negate East versus West and just have the best teams play the best teams. What are your thoughts on that future-reaching stuff?
I think that, the NBA, so right now, even in the way we're using Google Hangouts for our open practice, which is typically a place where people can just come physically to watch, NBA said, no, you absolutely can't do it. And then we said, look, we want to do it, and came back and forth. And they said,
what did you want to do exactly?
So basically, instead of having an open practice last year where anyone could come, we actually wanted to do the whole thing through Google Hangouts on air. And we did. We had 5 or 6 well-known celebrities plus a player who actually were kind of the host and color commentator through the experience. Steph Curry took people through behind the scenes, and then we for about another hour, we had the coach mic'd up, and we did that. There's things that are going to start moving out. Adam is obviously looking at all of these things, but I think one of the unique opportunities that could really benefit us is our D-League. So we can do almost anything in the D-League as a way to try it. We did our own Google Glass app in our arena, where it wasn't just what does a ball look like from a player, what is the position from a player when they're shooting. We actually put it on fans and delivered additional augmentative kind of information to them while they were watching it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like what? Like the percentage the person shoots?
Yeah,
or?
Stats, scores, out of town, scores.
How about the speed the player is running or something?
Well, and that's,
or the vertical height.
And that's exactly what's coming, because we have cameras mounted in the top of the ceiling that track all that. So it's just a matter of taking that and using it as input into Google Glass.
Well, I did see some player in the NBA was wearing Google Glass and doing some short videos with it. Do you see a time when the players will actually have cameras mounted on? They already have audio. Yeah. I mean, if it could get small enough?
I don't know. I mean, I think that, so those are the types of things we are thinking of trying in the D-League. Because the D-League, which is our development,
doing glass?
Yeah, we could actually give everybody a glass in the D-League. Or we can have cameras mounted in certain places to create, so we've been doing work with Oculus Rift, right? So we're creating consumer VR experiences for people who are not at the game. right?
So what, I'll get to play on the Knicks this season or something?
If you're good enough.
We could win 10 more games.
Right. So I think the opportunity is let's try it out in the D League. Let's try it. Let's get the experiences, and then let's make a business case for it.
But what is the case for Oculus Rift? I mean, people hear about that, and Facebook obviously bought it, and everybody's sort of wondering, like, okay, VR has never worked. Why is it going to work this time? Have you used it, and do you think it's going to work?
Yeah, I've used it, and in actuality, I'm working with a guy named Jeremy Bailenson who runs the Stanford Virtual Human Interaction Lab. I think that's who Mark went to after he bought it.
Yeah.
To really look at how to shoot and capture that kind of content that can be delivered to a fan. Now, what we're using Oculus Rift for is that we're building a new arena. So what we're doing is we have teamed up with a company that can actually take the architecture of a building that isn't built yet and map it out. So
you want to sell season passes,
yeah. We want to.
Here's what your seat looks like. Walk around the arena, pick your seat.
That's right. And then turn the corner and see a game, right? And be able to sit and see a game and then say, look, you want to buy, you want to name it.
Amazing.
Like
all right, let's take a question or two from the audience. Anybody have some questions about where this is going? And we have any for Twitter? There's one over here and then one over here. Great.
Hey, Aaron, I'm just wondering why you guys are deciding to pursue the sports vertical with Sonic Notify.
Sure. So we didn't explicitly plan to pursue the sports vertical per se, although it has all of the key attributes that make for a perfect Beacon partner. And what I mean by that is, like I said, they're both a retailer and a brand at the same time. But also, I mean, let's face it, Kenny and his team, they put together the most incredible content. They changed their, we deliver this CMS and these beacons that let you know where you are, but really it came down to constantly changing messages to see which messages actually fans responded to and which ones didn't. And you have to go back to the art as well as the science to make it work. So it's been fantastic working with Kenny and team, but we are just as much, if not more so, on a day-to-day basis actually focused on retailers. We have 6 of the top 50 US retailers in POC right now for their equivalent use case rollouts. And then we also have other things which are sort of quasi-retailers like malls. Malls are really interesting because different than a regular retailer, they're not as afraid of getting between the shopper and their decision process, their in-store experience. And so they are willing to open up and have third-party apps get involved. They're willing to do a whole sort of broad set of ecosystem for monetization and try a lot of things out. And so we've been doing malls and airports and stuff like that as well.
Great.
With all your, with all your relationships with other brands and sponsors you have with the Warriors, have you guys thought about literally gamifying the fan experience, like a season-long game where you get so many points if you don't miss a game and you get other points so that you can actually interact with the fans can have their own game within a game?
Yeah, gamification.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking at all the game mechanics and dynamics to encourage loyalty. We actually are still in the process of building out what might be a fan club, because once you build a loyalty program, especially with points and everything, you got to be completely dedicated to make it work. But Beacons would be a perfect opportunity to do that. I mean, if we were potentially to have someone walk in and automatically check in, then we would know exactly that you were there. I mean, we could track all kinds of behavior, and really that's what we're looking for, is what is the kind of behavior we want to drive that's going to deliver a great experience, and then how can we use the tools, and what is the most effective tool to put into place when we design for that.
Kenny brought up a really interesting thing. We have this other use case. I just want to clarify something. We have this other use case, which is that a casino uses us, and they don't use us to display any messaging whatsoever to their gamblers. Instead, what they do is notifications get sent to their hospitality people for the appropriate gamblers to then be taken care of.
We'd like to be referred to as gamers.
Gamer, yeah, there you go.
But the degenerates, you can tell when the whales are losing big.
Yeah.
No, they just want to know that somebody has been at the table for how long,
right?
Without the pit boss having to put it into the system or something.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And they literally dispatch hospitality people to offer drinks or whatever they do.
Yeah. We thought about designing things where upon exit they would get traffic information. So BART is our subway in the Bay Area to deliver BART information, things that are relevant. The more that we start to get to know who these people are, the more relevant the messaging is going to be. And you asked, like, where do you think this is going? And I don't know. I kind of think it's a little bit about who was it? Marshall McLuhan who said,
"Yep,
we shape the tools and the tools shape us, or therefore the tools shape us." And what we have seen is as our fans start to get familiar with the technology and what it enables, their behavior changes because of it. They might not necessarily have to look up how to get home because they know that when they walk out, they're going to be given this information. And that's just a basic level. We're doing the entire fan journey from the minute they wake up and go to the game and come back for the new arena. Not to mention the new arena, we're only playing, what, 41 plus games there, right? So we're going to have 300 plus other events and artists there that we hope to tap into our technology.
What is the NBA's stance on fan-created media these days? I wasn't sure, because we used to get searched at Madison Square Garden before we came in to make sure we didn't take pictures, and now you're asking us to take pictures and put them on the Jumbotron.
Yeah.
It's a little bit confusing. You're sending a mixed message.
Fan-created is fine and encouraged.
Including video.
Yeah,
short video is fine.
Sure, sure. Now, the team has different responsibilities. Like, we have specific limitations with our broadcast partner, Comcast Sportsnet, and what we can do. We have a 75-mile limitation around the arena for us to market. We are,
So can you put a clip of your own game on social media or no? It's okay if you don't know.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, we can't, like, for example, it also depends on where. Like, we're not supposed to put anything on YouTube. YouTube is not an approved NBA.
Twitter is a big partner now.
Twitter is.
And they're hosting the videos.
Yeah.
People don't know that Twitter is hosting videos for like 60 different partners right now.
Yeah.
They've done that, they know now, but
yeah,
it's been quite covert.
They're a big partner, and like YouTube, for example, is a big deal with D-League, but Turner would rather us use their media player, because they sell pre-roll and everything, than YouTube. YouTube just, we get more views. It's a better experience. But they said they're working on that. So
let's hear it for Kenny and Aaron from the Golden State Warriors and Sonic. Notified. And by the way, great job with the shirts. Thank you for that and everything.